Yet to be named.
I like that. I like
Really?
that. Not too bad. Okay, not too bad.
How about the podcast with no name?
That's a horrible name. Don't ever.
The cast without a name. The podcast without a name.
Like the man with no name.
Yeah.
Okay, that's stupid.
We'll get back to it.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. Don't worry. We'll find. I think
We're
that's
working really hard on this.
clearly.
If we're not doing a podcast, we're usually brainstorming names for a podcast. Just so you guys know.
All our free time
I don't know
is
if you guys
devoted.
can tell.
There's 3 things we do: we eat, we work, and
We work
think of
on a name
for
for a podcast.
And we hold ourselves to like a really high standard.
Yeah, and we're not
That's why it's
accountability.
taking
Yeah.
so long.
Okay, so what did we do this past weekend, fellas?
Oh, you know what we did.
A lot of crazy stuff.
Like crazy stuff.
Busy week for us.
Busy week,
wasn't-
which none of you will know about.
No.
We won't tell you.
So we went up to
We went to Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe is in California. If viewers don't know where that is, we went up to Tahoe as like a little bit of a retreat. We haven't all kind of hung out together in a while since we all have jobs and stuff like that. So we're like, okay, let's plan a weekend and let's go up to Tahoe, hang out, and we can do some writing, do some brainstorming, watch movies, and just kind of
Do some
geek out,
hiking?
film stuff, hiking, you know, kind of hang
Just
out.
to get away.
Yeah, we were originally going to go up there to like write, but we didn't do much writing. We did a little bit. We have kind of an idea that we were working on for like a script, but it kind of just became just a getaway.
I mean,
we
nice
were
little
just-
vacation.
It was nice. Yeah, we were just so tired.
And it wasn't even super long. It's like we went up for 2 nights.
2 nights, man.
3 days.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of
It
a
was really
getaway.
refreshing.
We watched 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One good, one not so good.
We intentionally watched the bad one.
Intentionally.
Like we went and
Yeah.
seeked it out.
Yes.
It was.
So
But
we
I
were-
didn't
we're
think
at
it
a-
was
gonna
going
be that bad though. We were at a Rayleigh's, and we were at the Red Box, and we decided, okay, we need 2 movies, one good one bad one.
You can learn from both.
You can learn from both.
You can learn from
so we got Whiplash, Academy nominated.
That
film.
was the
We
bad
won't.
one.
No, we won't tell you which
Oh.
one was good or bad.
Oh, sorry. We'll let you
Okay,
we'll let you
guys decide. You go do your own watching,
And then the
figure it
second
out.
film was a movie called Divergent.
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 I think it was adapted from a literature.
Yes, I think Faulkner wrote that,
William
right?
Faulkner
Oh,
wrote the
wow.
first version
Or,
of Divergent.
Yeah.
It might have
was,
been
I think it was called
McCarthy.
Factionless.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Faction.
Right, adapted. Right.
Factionless.
What do we think of Divergent, fellas?
Well,
I thought it was a great. piece
if you
of
don't
cinema.
think about it or ask any questions whatsoever, it might be considered slightly mediocre. But if you start asking questions,
Lackluster at best. Lackluster.
Damn. Well, I feel yeah.
can we give it any credit?
Yeah.
I was thinking. I think we can. I mean, it wasn't shot bad. I mean, like the cinematography was okay. It didn't look like it wasn't anything outstanding. Nothing about that movie was really outstanding in a real way. I think the biggest problem that we had was because Divergent, for those of you who don't know, is a young adult novel. There's a series of them. The next one's coming out soon called Insurgent, and it's sort of one of these young adult like
Post-apocalyptic
post-apocalyptic dystopian futures, tyranny like fascism. And there's Hunger Games is similar. Hunger Games has by the way, I noticed it's young adults.
Maze Runner?
It's not like Maze Runner.
Yeah.
It's not like in Hunger Games they kind of did that where when they had the actual game there was maybe like a kid, like a 5-year-old kid, but it only goes up to about a 20-year-old, like a 20-something-year-old. There's not like a 40-year-old mom,
Right.
and then like a some 70-year-old
Yeah.
grandpa. It's like no, it's all these young
Yeah, they're
kids,
just catering to that market.
and that's what they're catering to.
And Woody Harrelson.
And and same with Divergent. It had all these everyone. So I guess it sort of makes sense because the group that she was in, the Dauntless, which are these Dauntless
It's Gauntless.
gauntlets,
Gauntlets.
Dauntless,
Dauntless.
and they're these young. I guess it makes sense that they're young because they have to be these like acrobatic dudes, and they're like free runners, and they're
Let's
the
give a spoiler
soldiers.
alert before because I'm pretty sure we're gonna spoil some stuff.
Okay, so
Darn it. Yeah, now you can't watch
I don't
the
even know
movie.
where to start. So there's like this. It's a dystopian future in Chicago. It takes place in Chicago in the future, and there's all these factions. There's erudite, which are the smart people.
Erudite.
Erudite,
Dauntless.
Dauntless.
They're the cool kids.
They're like
They're the
badass.
cool-
Then there's
climb
like the
stuff.
abdication.
Abdication. They grow stuff.
I guess the girl stuff, but they're the government
Abdication.
also.
You have governments, farmers, like politicians, warriors, and There's a fifth one.
Factionless.
Smart people. Oh yeah, there's factionless. That's the
Factionless.
sixth one.
yeah.
Anyway,
People that aren't good.
Yeah,
They're
in
either mediocre at everything or just they don't excel in anything.
and factionless are like homeless.
They don't fit in.
Yeah.
anywhere.
But they're people too.
So you have this main character, this girl, who has she's a divergent, and a divergent is someone who thinks independently.
But by the way,
Message.
you don't figure that out until like 3/4 of the film. You don't figure out what a divergent is.
And then she's trying to cover it up.
Yeah, but she. I don't know where to,
Okay,
I don't
so
even know where to go with this.
I don't know. Okay, so a divergent is someone who I didn't even see her that she thought really differently.
Me neither.
It was necessarily that they put her in this test and she's almost like in this dream state, hallucinating, and then from there, the fact that she realizes that she's in a dream or in a hallucination,
Yeah.
and then she just thinks differently.
Right.
She's not smart.
Language.
She's not.
I know. I'm gonna try to watch my language.
She's not like super smart. She's not really gifted ability-wise in any way whatsoever.
I think the only attempt that the movie did to make her look like, oh, she's edgy, oh, she's gonna go for is when she jumped over the cliff for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
Off the building for the first
That's
time.
right.
That's I think the only point in the film
Right,
where she's
right.
just like, no, I'm gonna do this. you
Okay,
know?
and then half the movie is her just training. Okay, she's trying to get better and trying not to get cut.
Right.
If she gets cut, then she's factionless.
Yeah.
But then after she doesn't get cut, she's still like 20 something.
She's still just average.
Right. She's still average. And
So,
then
yeah, okay, so that's a good point. So the problem that I had with this movie, and maybe it's true cinema and it's completely over our heads. I don't think so. I think it
True cinema.
so there's like Godard watches it and he's like,
manifestation of cinema.
Yeah.
Truffaut's like,
well, he's dead now. But like
it's like true cinema.
yeah, Scorsese watches it and like a tear just rolls. I think so basically there's these factions, and then there's sort of like, just like the Hunger Games, there's this sort of like audition, like a lottery type thing, and they go in this big council and everyone in the city is there, it seems like, or all the people who were about to be chosen, and you go up and they have the 5 bowls of like, the one's water and one has rocks in it and the other has wood or
They
something.
basically represent.
They're representing the 5
factions.
factions, and you go up there when you get called. You go up there and you cut your hand. And you pour your blood on whichever one you want to join. And once you go, that's where you go. So
Yeah.
this girl, I guess, comes from the Abdicators, the main character. She's a farmer or something, and her parents are kind of
No, she helps homeless people.
yeah. Or, no,
that
she
too.
comes from like
That
the
too.
government. Like this is what's weird about the book. Is like there's the smart people, but they don't govern. But then like the farmers govern.
Yeah. Because they're
probably-
humanitarian.
No, the
Because-
abnegation farms.
Oh, I keep forgetting. But then
Well,
there's
one
like
of them are humanitarians. And
Humanitarian,
those are the
humanitarian.
ones that are like that actually run the government.
Yeah. They actually run the government, and so basically the whole movie is about the erudites, the smart people.
Erudite.
They're butthurt because they don't govern everything.
There's
and they
some
want
super
to.
fan listening to this, just like
You got it all wrong. You got it so wrong.
You
This is how much this movie sucked. Is we couldn't even. Also, didn't help that we were really drunk when we watched.
It's made it fun.
we
But
don't really drunk. We're about as drunk as I'm about to be.
that's fine. Yeah, that's true. But
one beer.
So, but anyway, so she's part of like the government faction, the humanitarian helping hands one, and she goes up there, and her parents are like,
Hands across America.
and her family's like, we'll love you no matter what you pick. And then she goes up and cuts her hand and chooses Dauntless because she sees them cartwheeling out of trains.
And of
stuff.
course, her family doesn't love her after
Yeah,
that
her
point.
family-
They're like,
They're
What
just
did
like,
you just do?
you traitor.
Well, you know their parenting was just totally in the dumps when both their kids leave their own faction. Especially the scene before they're like, you're gonna make the right decision,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna make the right decision. Like, yeah, we're gonna make the right decision.
So anyway,
they just leave their parents as soon as they can.
Okay, so then our main character chooses Dauntless. She wants to be in the acrobats. And right off the bat, they go climbing up like a train and then take the train and then backflip off over like a roof gap. And she's like, okay, and she does it. Fine.
First of all, they didn't ever throughout the film they didn't establish what the Dauntless are doing to protect the
They're-
city.
They're
Exactly.
police, they're military, but they never
they're
actually
the
show
soldiers.
that.
They're the soldiers, but it just shows them doing.
But they never say, "Oh,
somersaults.
we have this huge fence around the city, but
Yeah.
we're protecting it."
From what?
Exactly.
From who? It looks green and beautiful outside the
the
city.
abdication's
I
out
wanna
there,
go
like,
out
growing
there.
stuff. You know, it's just like, no, we can't build out there. We have to live in these old ass
Like
dumps and stuff
broken
like that.
down, homeless in the dirt, you know?
I don't know what the.
All right, so I think the main thing in this film is that we felt that our main character, I don't remember her name.
What was her name?
Katniss.
Oh no! No, it was Triss.
Triss.
Oh yeah.
Her name was
Beatrice.
Beatrix
And then she
Kiddo.
cut it half of that. She's like, "That's my old name."
It's not Beatrice. It's,
Okay.
That's so edgy.
She looks in the camera and
So-
goes, Triss.
I think
And then the director comes up behind her like,
He goes,
okay,
anyway, I think the main thing in this film is that we felt she had no motivation. She didn't grab life by the balls.
she didn't have
in
a
any
passion.
way.
yeah.
What was her passion? Her passion was not to get found out that she was divergent,
Which was never really explained.
which is never really like that good of a passion anyway. I mean, that's like you're hiding, you're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
scared.
So she
You
was. So she. Okay. Well, that's another thing. Okay, going back to what you said, what I was going to say earlier. She's a divergent. Divergent should be a divergent is basically someone who's got like all the factions, right? She has, she's part erudite and part whatever, and she has all this stuff.
Basically,
like Mark
she
said,
realizes she's dreaming.
yeah, they have these tests, and you go in, you drink the syrup, and then you're sitting there, and you have a dream, and however you react in the dream, that's kind of where you go.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm in a dream. Like she just realizes she's in a dream,
She's
and then
lucid
they
dreaming.
unplug her like the Matrix, pull the thing out of her head. You got to go, and she's like, "Why?" Which is what the audience asks, "Why?" And she goes, "Can't tell you. Bye," and then
Because-
just kicks her out.
And then that Asian lady just pops up here and there. She's like a
a
tattoo
tattoo
artist. She's part of Dauntless, but then she's also the serum creator
Yeah,
where she's monitoring everything.
Yeah.
Fine.
So that makes
And
perfect
she's
sense.
like, "Don't ask questions."
Yeah, she doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Asian. High magic.
Let's
Don't ask
hot Asian girl. Let's put her in as many scenes as
Yeah,
possible.
I'm the only Asian in this movie. Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
And so then, I don't know. It just made no. If audience listening right now, if you're confused, fine. That's how you should be, because we are too. We're not good at explaining this movie because it didn't make sense. But basically, if she's a divergent, I felt like she should have been different. She should have been kicking ass right off the bat. She should have been like the best fighter and the best everything. But she just walked around like.
Confused.
You know when
She was
Find herself.
affected by everything.
Dude.
She was a puppet.
You know when
in a
you're
way.
standing in line and there's like a kind of a cute girl behind you and she's wearing like a cardigan and she's standing with like her arms kind of folded in front of her and just with her hunched shoulders. That's how she was the entire movie.
Yeah,
with
same
that
reaction,
look,
same
that
reaction.
same, just that look. She's just walking around,
It was just her looking uncomfortable.
just
in
looking
mirrors
uncomfortable,
all
looking in
movie.
mirrors, which is supposed to symbolize, oh, she's looking at herself.
Yeah, she's doing some sort of. And okay, so maybe the second movie there's going to be a little bit of a character change. She's probably going to be a little bit more of a badass. She's going to fight the system.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The first movie
on its own.
on its own just.
It took more than one movie for Luke Skywalker to become a Jedi.
That's true, dude. And it's gonna take a hell of a lot.
Yeah, but no,
Not
but
a lot
Luke
of character
Skywalker's
change
like,
for
no, I
Luke.
want to freaking go out and do something. I want to
Yeah.
be a fighter. I
Exactly.
want to join the
He-
revolution.
Yeah, dude, he was tired of the
revolution.
Dude, he was tired of hanging out in the sand.
Yeah.
In the sandbox.
He
He's
wanted
like,
he wanted to get out,
Yeah,
dude.
man.
And instead of just like, I don't know if I want to.
yeah, she's like, do I take espresso coffee or should I
Do
get
I want a latte? Yeah.
I mean, at least in the
Versus-
Hunger Games, like Katniss, she had a good skill of. She was a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
She was an
Well,
archer.
also,
she was a great archer.
She took action. Like
I don't know. I'm going to disagree. She didn't take action to the very end. To the very end, she was a puppet through the whole freaking place.
Talking about, I volunteer.
she volunteered in her
Well, I
sister's
mean,
place.
okay, I understand that, but then, okay, so after she's in the Hunger Games, the whole second movie, she's just trying not to piss off the president, whatever his name is. She's like, okay, I'll do whatever I can, just not to start a revolution and to start this big brouhaha, you know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the president's like, this is not enough, you're not doing enough. She's like, I'm trying. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, well, we're gonna put you in the Hunger Games again.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I just feel like
Dang, that's how it goes.
I mean, it is hard
Yeah,
to
a lot-
fight a government, you know. It is to fight this huge bad. I don't know. I don't
These
know. what
adult
I'm saying.
movies are like, it's weird, dude. I kind of wanted to see The Maze Runner, but I didn't see that one either. But I had a feeling it's gonna be the same thing almost.
Just
It's this weird dystopian future where they round up kids.
Honestly, I like these. I like the whole premises of these. The settings,
cool.
the settings are cool. The concepts are cool. The setup, the initial everything. I like it.
But
I want to like it.
Just fall
but the characters
so quickly.
Exactly. The visuals are nice. It's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But
Here's my take on this.
Go for it.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, it was a movie that had a target demographic. Probably blew that demographic out of the water, made a ton of money. The reason we don't like it, probably the most important reason it doesn't work for us at least, its main character didn't really have much of a goal. Honestly, we didn't really have a reason to care about it.
Motivation.
And that's what directly contradicts the other movie we watched, which was great, and for the reason Divergent was not great. Our main character had an incredible, passionate goal that he had to achieve under any means necessary.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Whiplash. Is it time to change the subject? Or should we
Yes,
talk
it
about
is.
Divergent?
We have to.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, talk about Whiplash. That movie featured a character with a goal that he was headstrong on pursuing. You know, nothing's gonna stop him. Even like this great antagonist who it seems like wants to like derail him at every single point. Yeah, he also kind of wants him to succeed. It's really cool how it kind of comes together in the end. But that movie's about Andrew Neiman. He's this young kid in school who's an amazing drummer.
Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller. Both of these movies, featured Miles Teller.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's right. And Miles Teller was a total dick in Divergent, and he was a little bit less of a dick in Whiplash.
Right.
I
At
don't.
least he changed. He changed
Yeah.
a little bit at the end. That's for sure.
And he just wants to be the greatest drummer of all time. Like, can't fault the guy for that. It's an admirable goal.
Yeah.
It takes a hell of a lot to get there, though, and you feel like, man, he might have what it takes. And you have, the bad guy in this movie is the teacher, Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons, won Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars. Did a freaking awesome job.
He's a monster in the film.
monster.
Dude.
He runs his music class like a military academy.
Worse than a military academy.
And he's trying to get the best really out of his students, but it seems like it's almost like too much, And he's like beating them down until it finally, at the end, it's just this big old collision course. I don't want to spoil it because I think if you haven't seen it, you have to go watch that movie. That is a great movie.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil the ending, but I will say this: he did have a goal because in Divergent, she never says what her goal is. The movie's called Divergent. She is a Divergent. She should have been like she should have looked in the camera and said, "I'm a Divergent, and I'm gonna be an individual, and I'm not gonna conform to the factions. Right. I'm not gonna be factionless, but sort of, but also like above them."
Right.
I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna fight the erudites. Whatever her goal was.
Yeah.
Right.
Whiplash, he sits down with his girlfriend, and he breaks up with her, and he says, "I don't have enough time for you, because I want to pursue being the best drummer in the world, and I think you're gonna hold me back." And you go, "Holy cow, that's my goal." Like he says it to the audience.
Right.
He goes, "I want to be the best drummer ever, one of the greats." And she's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he does, dude.
Yeah.
He goes through everything. His hands bleed.
Like he sacrifices things that he really wants. Like at the beginning of the film, he wants a girlfriend.
He wants a social life.
And he wants a social life. He
That's
wants
right.
friends, and he sees it, and he really wants this. But he sacrificed what he wants for what he needs, and what he needs is to become the best in the world.
Yeah, dude. The best.
The best.
And then
even through all this trouble, all this obstacles, like his parents, his dad's kind of a nice guy, but his family really doesn't give him that much credit.
Yeah.
He has no support from a lot of his friends.
Yeah.
He's just completely beaten down, even by his own professor he's beaten down. But yet he rises up through it and freaking accomplishes it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
he's got
the
motivation
only time
behind
we
it.
see him like at the very low when he's not drumming is because he freaking punched his teacher. Like he tackled him. He forcibly got kicked out, and he's like, that's the only way he can't pursue his passion if they legitimately kick him out of like this prestigious academy.
Yeah.
Like that's passion, dude.
That's passion.
Like, dude, he gets
like not even teachers gonna freaking stop him.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know if he actually got kicked out because it was summertime when the third act of the movie.
That's right, but he punched his teacher. Well, because his teacher kept
he got the
threatening to
letter
replace
of
him with
resignation, or that he got that letter that
that's
kicked
true.
him out.
Yeah.
It was.
it was like
never mind.
Never mind. Been booted out of the thing. But
just a passion care, and even our bad guy Fletcher.
Yeah.
Passion. You know.
There's a motivation behind it. It's not just he's an
just for being.
but the motivation behind it.
He's the hero of his own story. He's not just a mustache twirling villain.
That's a good point. See,
Exactly.
that's another thing I want to bring up is in movies when you have a bad guy, they have to be the hero of their own story. So obviously they're kind of going in the antithesis of what our protagonist, that his path, but they still are the hero, or they should be, in theory, right?
And a lot of times in those films, your bad guy gets his one chance to kind of give his bad guy speech.
And Fletcher gives his bad guy speech, but it's not what you think.
Yeah, exactly. It's not what you think, but at the same time, it should almost convince you to like, I see what you should get a little bit of understanding from the bad guy.
You should almost root for the bad guy in a weird way, and you kind of.
And there's like a big ambiguity there because you're sitting there in the middle and you're just like, oh man, this is tough. You know, it confuses you
because you understand both sides.
That's complex, you know. It's complex characters.
And what's go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say like when Fletcher delivers that bad guy speech, I guess I'll just say like he just wanted to have his own Charlie Parker. He wanted to teach the next great, American musician. And I think at that point, I think he does become a hero. He does become kind of a good guy. And from that point in the movie, we almost want them both to succeed, and they both can't succeed really without the other.
Exactly. That's the interesting thing. No, exactly, because they're relying on each other because Neiman needs someone to push him to become the best.
Yeah.
Because he won't really do it on his own, so he needs someone to push him. That's where Fletcher comes in. But Fletcher almost pushes him too hard. But by pushing him so hard, Fletcher thinks that the harder you push him, he's going to weed out all the pussies.
Yeah.
Really. Mm-hmm. And that one Charlie Parker who won't get discouraged will come back and fight. So it's like this weird yin and yang.
Yeah.
That's it's just so brilliant. It's so good. So much
film. Did Fletcher feel responsible for the death of his former student?
Spoiler.
Did he did.
Did
he call it? Did he say it was like a car crash or something?
He said it was a car crash, but then we find out later that it was
a suicide.
It was a suicide.
Remember that? That's I think this is kind of brilliant because as a character, Fletcher he contradicts himself so much, because like he's tearing up in front of the class and he's having like a real moment, and then but he's basically lying to the class,
because
go for it.
I was just gonna say he can't tell them like because a former student of mine killed himself because he felt pressured by my teaching.
Yeah, but he could have said he killed himself or something like that.
And we don't know.
At the same time,
we don't know exactly.
I want to keep going on this, like how this Fletcher kind of contradicts himself a lot, and that leads to like a complex character. I think.
Yeah.
He's also in one scene he was saying hello to like a little girl and then like encouraging like, oh, you're gonna be really good little piano. I can't wait to see you there. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Close the door and just like, all right, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Like he has all these. I don't know. He just really contradicts himself, and it just. I don't know how to kind of put it into words, but it just feels like really complex and just a really legitimately good character.
I think
Go for it. Yeah.
I was reading this one thing. It's like the way to classify that is not really a contradiction, but like a paradox, because like humans are like by nature rational creatures filled with paradoxes. Like we have these goals, and yet we spend all this time doing stuff that's not accomplishing our goals. But same way, kind of with a guy like Fletcher, like you could argue he has many paradoxes, or you could simply say that he wants to find this next great musician. However, maybe one of the paradoxes is this kind of stuff you just mentioned. He does ways that aren't the best for that. If that makes sense at all. Contradiction, paradox. I don't know. Like great characters that have paradoxes, those make them complex characters, makes them kind of real. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think.
No, I agree. I think. Some films, like in Divergent, when a character is affected by something, there's a cause and effect. That's very simple and it's easy writing. Hard writing is where something affects our character takes that into consideration, and they have almost like this psychological evaluation. So there's multiple routes that they can go, and if you can kind of reveal, it's kind of subtle, but I think good writing. The character is three-dimensional. Mm-hmm. You can see that there's multiple ways that they could go. There's multiple paths.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, because this happened, I'm going to do this. I don't know.
Well, your character has to make a choice, right? And in good writing, it's your character. Like it's easy to make a choice between good or bad. It's harder to make a choice between something that's good and good. And so a lot of times, And
if you can show that struggle, though, that's the three-dimensionality that comes forward.
That's why maybe Fletcher was such a good character, was because he wasn't 100% bad. Like we only thought he was bad because he was kind of mean to his students. Mm-hmm. Like boo-hoo. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to run one of the top-notch music academies in the world. Yeah. He's trying to like get the tightest. He kicked some dude out who wasn't even out of key.
Right.
The other guy was out of key, but the dude he's yelling at was actually in key, but he was testing him, and the guy that was getting yelled at didn't know if he was out of key or not. So he kicks him out, and he goes, actually, you were out of key, but he didn't know, which is worse. You know, like he, and then there was one moment in there that I thought was really genuine, that almost made it, where Neiman's playing drums, and then the other guy, the alternate, comes in and kind of subs him out, and Fletcher puts him as the core drummer. Gets the phone call about the death, right? And he's in his office, and so Neiman's all pissed off, and he goes in there to kind of give him a whooping, like, hey, how come I'm not the core drummer?
Right.
And he's just instead of Fletcher, who would maybe in like a less well written film might have nutted up on him and been just blown up from all this anger, but he's just like, not now, Neiman, like, I swear to God, like, this is
that
the time.
That was actually a really interesting.
He didn't just nut up and he goes, and Neiman's
that seemed real.
It seemed real because he,
yeah.
you can tell he just got a phone call that was on his mind, and the last thing he needs is some kid yelling at him because he didn't make top spot in the drumming.
Right.
And maybe if he was a real bad guy, he would have been like, Neiman, you don't even understand. But he's just human. Like, not now. And then he just stands up and he's just like, if you want the spot, earn it. That's all he said. Yeah. Then earn it. Like, and they just told him to get out. And Neiman's just like, oh, whatever, doesn't understand my struggle. But it's like, you don't know that he just got this phone call.
Yeah.
Like, changed his life almost. So he's like a real character. He wasn't just this bad dude, this 100% bad guy. He was genuine. Same thing with the girl. He's like, yeah, I can't wait to see you. Hopefully you're in my class one of these days, or something like that.
Little does she know.
Yeah, but it's like,
well, I think
that's almost how people are.
You can say the same thing about our main character, our good guy. He's not 100% good either.
No, he's not.
Freaking.
He kind of is, dude. He has no friends. When they're sitting at that dinner table, and they're sitting here going, yeah, what about Tommy's football scholarship or whatever? And he's like,
I like that scene.
Yeah, dude. And
he's like, you're D3.
Yeah, he's very confrontational. Like he blew off his girlfriend because of to go. He's rude to like his other bandmates because he thinks he's better than they are.
Yeah.
Which may be true, but still, it's like, hey, you can hold my drumsticks. You like language. Sorry. Just a bunch of things. I mean, he's not a. The only thing he doesn't. I wouldn't even say he's very likable. Honestly, he's like, for all the reasons we just mentioned, he's kind of a dick. However, we like him.
Good ass drummer.
We like him. Yeah, he has this goal. Yes. He wants to be the best.
It keeps coming back to
and because he has the goal, we care about it and we want him to accomplish it because he's so passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. And this ties into other films we were talking about, like There Will Be Blood and Nightcrawler, where these characters, their morals are a little ambiguous. Kind of who they are. Are they good guys or bad guys? They kind of do some shady stuff.
Shigur and No Country for Old Men.
Dude, seriously. I made an argument about that one. But they're so good at what they do. Like Daniel Plainview is like the oil guy, and he's going to stop at nothing to do it. Same thing with Jake Gyllenhaal and Nightcrawler. Dude, he is going to be the guy, and he's gotten to his numbers.
Shigur's got to get that money back, and nothing's going to stop him.
Nothing's going to stop him. He flips the coin, and if the coin is the wrong thing, then
he
has
ruled
to
by honor, man.
By honor, dude.
Fate.
Same with what's his name? Andrew Neiman.
Right.
Neiman wants to be the best drummer, and he's going to stop at nothing to become that drummer. Those are characters who, even if you don't really like who they are or like what they do, or you kind of disagree with their actions, you can't not like them. You're captivated by them. You want to follow them.
Right.
Same with Fletcher.
Right.
Fletcher's a dick, but he gives you the reason why. He sits down and says to the audience, "This is why I'm a dick." And he also says, "I have no apologies for it." It's like, I'm not apologizing because I'm acting this way. I have my reasons.
Right. It's a very humanizing thing because at the end of the day, we're all we watch movies to it's like a simulation of reality, and so the closer it gets to reality, it's like the more we kind of pick up on it because we ourselves are not perfect people. We may think ourselves as good people, all of us.
Speak for yourself.
Not 100% true. We've all been many times. We all have circumstances or been in circumstances where we haven't. We're the villain of someone else's story. Could be anything. Could be beating someone else out for a job, or it could be breaking up with a significant other. You could be the villain of someone else's story. It doesn't mean you're a bad guy. It means you have a goal or a passion as a person, just like these characters in these movies have. Yeah. And it's not it's never black or white. It's never 100% this way or 100% this way. There's always complexities in every relationship. And so good films, I think, are the ones that kind of show that. They establish these complicated characters and their motivations and how it conflicts with these other characters. And this guy's a good guy because we're telling his story, and this guy's a bad guy because he's not the main character. Mm-hmm. But you can easily flip it. We could have told the story as the main character having been Fletcher. He could have been the good guy. That antagonist kid could have been the drummer,
Right.
and you could have told a great story from that position if you wanted to.
A lot of moral gray areas make for more relatable characters.
Well
That-
said,
that-
Seth.
Well
that was
said,
Seth.
Seth. Well said.
That was Seth.
Well said.
Moral gray areas make for great characters.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
do.
he said if you didn't hear that on the mic. But I think that's true. I think that's what really makes a good story sometimes. And that's kind of one of the reasons why Whiplash was up here.
Right.
Divergent was really kind of down here. You know, you didn't have that complexity. I mean, those are just two random movies. It's not really fair to compare them because they were totally
Right.
made for different reasons. Whiplash was made on a tiny budget, made for,
Which one made more money? That's what I want to know.
Of course. Divergent was a huge cash cow. It had to have been. I don't know the numbers. I imagine it did great. So not fair to compare, but we do it anyway because that's why we're here. We like to talk about these kind of things. But I think, the lesson here. What's the lesson here? Everything I just said. I don't know.
Lesson here is your characters have
a lot
to
of
be.
these
not
don't
black
necessarily have to be set in stone. Like you don't necessarily have to have a character with a crazy motivation. You know, maybe by the end of the film you probably should have one. But at the beginning of the film, like I feel like you could probably follow a main character and he doesn't really know what he wants in life, but he slowly kind of figures stuff out, and goes through these trials and tribulations and realize that, oh, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I'm gonna try for, But like by the end of the film, they better have that freaking motivation and just like a fire in them.
Well, that's kind of like Super Bad was kind of like that, wasn't it? Those kids.
Yeah.
Like they were about to graduate and they didn't really know what they want. I guess maybe their one goal was he just wanted to sleep with what's her name.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the sort of goal, but like they didn't know what they were gonna do. There was that weird panic and anxiety on them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna graduate. Are we gonna live together? Are we not gonna live together? Are we going to college? What's going on?
And that's
And
a
if
lot
we
of
wanna-
adolescent films.
Exactly.
And that's what I want to talk about, like, go back a little bit to Divergent. She didn't have a goal. Maybe she was, like, confused, and maybe that's why a lot of young people relate to her or something like that. But by the end of the film, like, I feel like she should be, like, what I said, like, grabbing life by the balls and just have a fire in her.
I guess she did, in a way.
I mean, there were like some minor things that she.
I feel like she was just trying to survive at one point.
It was like more,
it wasn't like she was trying to fight the government. She was just trying not to die.
And I feel like she was also being led by everyone as well. It's not like she had the idea to go here and to do this, or something like that.
She didn't have the agency.
Exactly.
The universe was controlling her. She wasn't controlling the universe,
Exactly.
or acting on the universe. I should
Yeah.
say the universe was acting upon her, and she was kind of the puppet for it, as you said before. Another thing for great characters. I know you have probably something to say, but yeah, characters that take agency and act upon the universe rather than being acted upon it.
Right.
Is what makes a great character. Like I said, all goes back to goals. You have a goal. One way to accomplish it is to go out and do it.
for it.
You can't let the universe do it for you. Cause
it's not just going to happen for you.
Yeah.
You have to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
What does Will Smith say at the end of? What is it?
Independence Day?
No, not Independence Day.
Welcome to Earth.
No.
Welcome to Earth.
Where he's got his little kid. He's trying to get the internship.
Oh, the pursuit of happiness.
He's like, if you want something in life,
Yeah, don't let anyone
tell you no. You just got to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true for
And that's
anything.
why we're going to work at Walmart for 20 years. Wait a second.
We probably should move on so people don't get bored listening to us.
Sure.
We got another story.
Yeah, we do have another story.
Another story.
I'll let Luke start the story. I think I know the story.
I'll let you segue. I have to use
we
the
were-
little girls' room real quick.
And then go.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So on Monday,
Monday,
me and Axel
Axel and I.
we signed up for this website, and it says beingamovie.com, and it's for the new Steve Jobs movie coming out. They're doing
Michael Fassbender!
with Michael Fassbender,
Seth
directed
Rogen.
by Danny Boyle, and
Danny Boyle.
Comes out October 6th.
October 6th. Anyway, they needed a lot of extras to fill this opera house.
Yeah. The War
because-
Memorial Auditorium in San Francisco.
Exactly, which is like 2 hours from us. So we're just like, we got to do it.
Yeah.
We got to go and be in this thing. So it's completely free. They give us lunch and stuff like that. Anyway, we show up in the morning, like 8 in the morning. This gigantic opera house, and we dressed in 80s outfits, and it was a lot of fun seeing everyone dressed up in the 80s.
Stepping back in time a little bit.
Yeah, step back in
Kind
time.
of.
But basically what this scene is back in 1988, Steve Jobs came back to Apple, or Macintosh back then, I guess, with a with a new computer. They didn't really kind of tell us what exactly it is, but it's basically this new product.
Yeah. If you know your history, you might know better than we would actually.
Yeah, exactly. Comment below. Let us know
How wrong we are.
And basically, he's coming back to Macintosh or Apple, whatever it is, and unveiling this new computer product. And apparently, it's supposed to change the world, and it's supposed to be insane.
It's gonna change the world.
It's gonna change the world. And yeah, go for it.
Well, basically, we were part of an audience of at least 1,000 people. I don't know how you organize or even try to put together this type of shoot, but it's an all-day shoot, and they had to film Steve Jobs talking to an auditorium full of people, and there had to be over 1,000 people there. We counted the chairs. We were sitting up on the balcony. We wanted to originally sit down with all the people in the seats below. We ended up getting front row seats at the balcony, which I think was even better. So if you see the movie on
box seats right above the second floor,
right on the edge,
on the rail,
right on the edge. So we're like right there, and the cameras, they were going everywhere, and the director Peter Boyle, he's trying to direct
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle. I keep Guinness. It's one thing to direct one actor, but now he's directing 1,000 people at one time, which has to be an insane undertaking. And yet there he was telling on a microphone, all right, audience, now you're here, you're gonna be part of this. You're not just gonna be background. You're gonna be really what the scene is all about.
Right.
So we're sitting there in the auditorium, on the edge of the balcony, just freaking, awesome. This is pretty cool. We're seeing a movie. We were there mainly because at least for me, I didn't really care so much about being in the movie. I cared about watching how that kind of production works.
Runs. We must have seen about 150 people running around. They all have a specific job to do. You got your PAs, you have your ushers, you have
your
people
ADs,
handling your cameras and stuff
imagine
like that.
People had to pay. They didn't pay the extras, of course, but they bought lunch for everyone, so they had to spend a few grand on lunches. They had to pay the staff of the auditorium to run it, just like any event would. They had to pay. It was probably like a 150-man crew, I imagine, because you have all these production assistants organizing and kind of trying to control this massive people to do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
We filed.
They had about 4 cameras going on simultaneously
at one time. I think it was so cool. The biggest thing I took away from it is, we saw Michael Fassbender. He showed up for about 2 minutes. He walked on stage, waved to the crowd, and walked by. I think he was just there to appease the audience. But it was kind of cool that we saw him. He didn't have to do any lines, which kind of makes sense. You're not going to have your actor act in front of 1,000 people. They're going to shoot those shots probably on a different day. But the coolest part to me was watching a pro like Danny Boyle, great director. He directed 127 Hours, 28 Days Later, Slumdog Millionaire. He's up there. He's one of the top directors probably in the world. He's got to be up there. And so we're sitting in the audience, and the whole crew, including him and the AD, they're all kind of set up on the stage. And so when they lift the curtain, you can see all their equipment. They have all the dollies and cranes and everything. Everyone's running around. Watching Danny Boyle kind of do his thing and kind of direct everyone and kind of run around is kind of
even if it was from a distance, we don't know exactly what they were saying or what's he talking to the AD, but I
think it was like going to a sporting event or a concert and watching a master of their craft do the thing. I went to an Eric Clapton concert a few years ago, and just being there in person watching Eric Clapton play guitar was cool. This is like seeing a master do his craft.
Right.
Or if you go to a sporting event and you see You see LeBron James play basketball in person. You're watching a master do his craft. Same thing. I'm sitting there in the audience and I'm watching Danny Boyle direct this movie, albeit from far away, and I couldn't really hear what he was saying. But still, that's him. He's making a movie, and I don't know. We're kind of aspiring filmmakers here. We'd love to get to that level, of course.
Exactly.
It's pretty hard to do. But just watching someone do that.
It's just so inspiring
to
see he controls everything. You know? He's telling the ADs, he's pointing up at the fixtures. He's like, I want this done. You can see what he's talking about when he can talk to the cameraman over the mic. He's like, okay, I want to get a shot over here with them stomping their feet. Boom, those guys hopped off that camera so quick. They're like, yes, sir. Going for it.
The dude was so chill too.
It was really neat. And it was really cool.
It was really cool because you almost kind of felt like an actor being directed when you talk to the audience, even though you're one of 1,000 people there. Yeah. It's kind of cool. I mean, I think, like I said, directing 1,000 people one time has to be a hell of an undertaking.
Right.
Just
but at the same time, you feel like an individual too.
Yeah.
You feel like you're worthy.
Yeah.
So and we were there. All day, probably 8 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
We did several takes of us leaving our seats and filing in slowly while they're having 5 cameras run at the same time, basically showing how we're just kind of hanging out before the unveiling, and taking our seats, you know. And so me and Axel
We're just like acting like we just met each other. Like, hey, nice to meet you. How you doing? Yeah, we're here for the unveiling. We're gonna see the new products and everything. So hopefully, I don't know. Maybe we'll see some.
I think so. Well, they did shots where Danny Boy was like, "All right, so this one, I want everyone to jump up and be clapping like Steve Jobs about to come on stage." And so Luke would be standing up there. He's like, this is gonna change the world. It's gonna change the world. God, nothing's ever gonna be the same. Nothing's ever gonna be the same. We sit back down. All right, we're gonna do that shot one more time. Luke gets up. This is gonna change the world. Nothing's ever gonna be the same. Sit back down. All right, guys, we gotta do it one more time. Try a little more energy this time. You know, directing us. Luke stands up. This is gonna change the world. Nothing's ever gonna be the same. We probably did it like 10 times just the same shot over and over again. We were selling out because we want to be in the movie.
Yeah.
I do. Of course, I'm not gonna admit it. I'd love. That'd be great. I think we might be too.
At the very least, I think we're gonna be in a pretty big wide shot.
But they had cameras going around and looking at individual people. There's a chance.
There's a chance that we might
just be me and Axel, and we're just like shaking hands. It's gonna be great.
That's the case. You know, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
You hear what it was like to make that. It's interesting. Making a movie is a crazy thing in itself. Having a shoot like that where you're just shooting 1,000 people, my goodness, how do you even put that together? Yeah. But they did it.
Apparently they're doing another one on the 28th of this month. Go to beinamovie.com. Apparently they have a lot of stuff you can sign up for down in LA, specific films or whatever like that. But beinamovie.com, they have a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty cool.
Probably attach the link.
Yeah, we'll attach it.
Link below.
That's Seth's department.
Yeah.
It's like, what? What are you guys talking about?
That's another thing to do.
Yeah, Seth.
But it was
You're
a
not getting
really
paid
cool
extra 40.
I don't have the links.
Yeah. But it was a really cool experience. Really cool.
Being in a movie is really fun. Being an extra, and even if it's not like, you know, I you can get tired of it, I think. But everyone loves movies. Everyone kind of likes the idea of, being in a movie, and even just being an extra in something like that was kind of It was a fun way to spend the day. I'll say that. So, and for us being kind of film guys, it was I think a little added incentive to be there. It's a lot of fun. So, wish we all could have been there. Probably would have been cool. But
yeah, that would have been cool.
If anything, hey, it gives us a little more. I wouldn't say experience because we weren't there working, but at least we just kind of saw how that kind of production worked. They're just guys like us that have jobs doing that.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys running around. I mean, no, we're not Danny Boyle or anything, but
well, he started from the bottom.
He started from the bottom too, and he's just making a movie.
Exactly.
Albeit on a grander scale, way bigger scale.
Scale.
But he's just doing kind of the same things we've kind of done.
Yeah.
He's really good at it.
For 28 Days Later, I heard, fun fact, the Canon XL2s.
Canon XL2.
They filmed most of
28
Days Later with Canon XL2s, which is
mini
like
DV.
Mini DV, like
old school.
He was working on an independent scale budget too,
Yeah.
And now he's working with Michael Fassbender.
You gotta have that passion.
Gotta grab life by the balls, right? You gotta have your character.
Danny Boyle's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Really chill guy. Knows what he's doing.
All right, guys.
Is it
Anything else? Do we have any quick quibs we can give the audience?
No.
I don't think so.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Belated,
St. Patrick's Day.
We have this Guinness left over.
Yes.
We had green beer.
Green beer.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Until next time.
Until next time. Thanks for listening
joining
again.
us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
Sweet.